All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin this video by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Racha, Kodash, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the Lord's elect, starting with the 144,000. This is Aratazah from the Great Millstone GMS Atlanta Camp. All right, back with another video. I just want to use this article as a backdrop for this lesson. All right, seeing that we in the time of prophecy, okay. The current year is so-called 2026. I believe today is January 28th. And as we've been noticing a trend, man, when these so-called New Year's come in, it always comes in with a bang, man. It's always like, major prophecies are happening, and it pretty much sets the trend for the rest of the year, man. And we see that wars on the horizon. You got all out chaos happening, uprisings of the people. All right, people are bugging out, losing their minds. Violence is at an all-time high. Just as in the days of Noah. Right, Scripture says that during Noah's times, violence covered the earth. And we know shortly after that came what? Came the flood. All right, and hang on one second. All right, sorry about that, but yeah, like I was saying, yeah, we're basically in that time of seeing these prophecies come to pass, man. All right, every year there's a trend. Yeah, I was talking about Noah, Slakia. During the time of Noah, right, violence covered the earth. All right, and then eventually, right after that came what? Came the flood. Okay, which we're living in the time of the flood all over again, but this time it's going to be by the way of fire. Okay, nuclear missiles, nuclear fire, which is primarily going to completely obliterate America. Okay, which is Babylon the Great, Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, ancient Rome. Basically coming back in this time. So this is just more, more tokens, as the scriptures call it, tokens or signs, tells that we essentially we're basically there. All right, we're in end time prophecy, the day of doom or doomsday. Excuse me, as the scripture says here, I got it up. This is Second Ezra's 7, and I guess we'll get to the point. All right, Second Ezra 7:43. It says, "But the day of doom shall be the end of this time." Right, the day of doom. What's the day of doom? The day of doom is essentially the day of the Lord, or the day when those missiles are launched. All right, missiles coming from Russia, various other nations and places, that are going to be at variance with Babylon the Great. As the scripture says, to shoot at her basically spare no arrows. Right, the arrows of the missiles, man. That's the day of doom. Right, another scripture just came to mind as well. I think that's is that Zephaniah 1:14, I think. All right, we'll grab that next. But it says 7:43 again. It says, "But the day of doom," okay, doomsday. All right, I think at the doomsday clock, it says, "shall be the end of this time." Right, right, when it speaks about the end of the world, the apocalypse, and all that, it's talking about the end of a time, or the end of rulership, which is what? The end of Esau Edom's rulership. Okay, Esau Edom is the biblical name or origin for the so-called white man. When you jump back a chapter, as a matter of fact, let's do that real quick. Right, Esau is the end of the world. Previous chapter, and we'll get to verse. Get to the point. Verse 9. Right. This is Second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9. It says, "For Esau," which Esau is the biblical name for the white man. All right. It says, "is the end of the world." Right. End of the world, once again, doesn't mean the end of the human race, or the end of the actual planet Earth. No, the end of his world, the end of his kingdom. And it says what? But it says, in Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. Jacob is the forefather of the Israelites. Okay, the 12 tribes of Israel, which we teach out the scriptures, prophecy, through history. All right, that the Israelites are the so-called blacks, Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right, that's the world that's coming after Esau world's end. So basically the kingdom of heaven. See that? So the day of doom is going to be, it says, going back, I think it says should be the end of this time. Right. So this is 2nd Ezra 7:43 again. It says, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time. All right. The end of Esau's time. And his time is up. All right. The clock is ticking, man. It says in the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. Right. Because in the kingdom, the Israelites are not going to die, because we're going to be under the new covenant, which entails that we have the laws written in our inward parts, and we won't have to teach our neighbor. Essentially, we'll be programmed to be righteous. We'll be perfect, and sin won't reign in our bodies, because what wages of sin is death. So if we don't sin, there will be no reason for us to die, or to, basically go to the grave. We'll basically live forever. And that's in the kingdom, and that's only given to the Israelites. Okay, no other nation is going to partake in that blessing. And it goes back to the covenant. It says that the Lord will make a covenant with the I'm paraphrasing, but with the house of Judah and all of Israel. Okay, the covenant only pertains to the Israelites. See, so this current world is going to pass away. All right, via the day of doom or doomsday. All right, got the doomsday clock. And then after that, this is in the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. All right. And it goes on. It says, intemperance is at an end. Infidelity is cut off. Righteousness is grown. And truth is sprung up. Right. Essentially, the Lord's going to do away with the wicked, do away with evil in the earth. It's another scripture that speaks about I'm paraphrasing. It tells about the evil root being plucked up. And the Lord's gonna essentially basically set up the righteous, right? The Israelites, starting with the elect in the kingdom. So yeah, that's what's going into, man. That the day of doom is the end, right? The end of who? The end of Esau and his rulership. All right, let's go from there to I think I quoted it earlier. Zephaniah 1 and 14. All right, this is Zephaniah 1 and 14. It says, the great day of the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Right, the day of the Lord is approaching. And which brothers go into from time to time how the day of the Lord really, we're in that time now, right? Currently is the day of the Lord, all right? Day of the Lord entails a particular time, the time frame, because we're at the end. But there is going to be an actual, a literal day, okay? A literal day, whether it happens on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Thursday, a Sunday, or whatever. It's going to be an actual day when the Lord actually makes his coming to the earth. Okay, there's going to be a day, all right, when the Lord makes his second coming. It's going to be nuclear war. Okay, and it says it hasteth greatly. It says, verse 15, it says that day, is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess. All right, this is a day of clouds and thick darkness. Right, this is doom. All right, doomsday. Okay, violence, troubles, distress, darkness. Right, verse 16, it says a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. Right, when they walk, they say they should walk as blind men, meaning that they're not gonna have any type of guidance, no wisdom, you know, essentially they're gonna be lost people out here, man. Okay, you got Esau and the nations, and 2/3 of our own people are gonna be blinded, but the elect are gonna have the light to be able to see and be able to walk in the spirit, and essentially be shielded from the evil to come. All right, it says what? It says neither their silver or nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. See that? Yes, not the Lord don't care about no goddamn resources, your money, gold, silver, your house, your car. That don't matter, right? It says what? But the whole land, which the whole land's talking about what? It's referring to America, Babylon the Great, shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land, right? All of them that's dwelling here in America, all right? The only ones that's going to make it out are the elect, okay, on those on the ships, on the so-called UFOs. Everybody else is left here in America on all right, standing here on this land when those missiles launch. That's it, man. It said, but even make a speedy riddance of all that dwell in the land. That's what? Doomsday. All right, the day of doom. So again, this is more things, more proof. All right, or things to look at, to basically measure the time to let us know that, hey man, we're approaching that day, quickly. All right, so with that, so we're going to do a quick video on that. Right, bring out a couple of points, couple of scriptures. Lord willing, you're edified by this video, and so on to the next one. Shalom.